Okay, it's okay for you that I record?
Fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you are the new student. Um, Sorry, names are escaping me right now. I've been running around all day. Student, help me out here. Where were you just elected to or appointed to?
Provost.
Provost. That's it. Yes. My goodness.
I'm trying to change my name. That way I put the whole thing for you.
You got it. Perfect. All right. So, um, here we have the new student provost for Grand Valley State University, Dr. Fatma Mili. Um, First of all, congratulations on your appointment, and I
Thank you
really
so
hope
much.
that you find a good home here at Grand Valley. Um, just to begin, for some of our listeners that have no idea what a provost is, could you go over, what are your kind of your duties here at Grand Valley?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Could you go over just kind of like what are your duties here at Grand
Oh,
Valley as the provost? Am I too
okay.
quiet?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know why.
You know what? I'm gonna try just without the equipment. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, is that better?
Maybe you're closer.
Maybe I'm closer. Okay,
Yeah, you sound closer. Okay.
okay, perfect. So we'll try that. The equipment doesn't always work in my favor. So, yes. So the floor is yours. Please let us know what
Okay.
Grand Valley Student Provost means.
Okay. So the provost is vice president for academic affairs within the university, and as you know, the president of a university oversees everything around the university, from the building to the academics to the safety to the sports. And the vice president for academic affairs is the position that serves the president and focuses on what it says, academic affairs. That is everything curriculum, everything students, everything around that main function of the university, which is to offer degrees and to the students. So the provost usually, every dean of the college reports to the provost. There are additional functions that usually go to the report to the provost for the purpose of coordinations and so forth. So that's what the provost is. It's really the vice president for academic affairs.
Okay. So just as an example, I'm in the music program. So the head of my program would be reporting to you, or would that be okay?
So the head of the program most likely is a chair, department chair,
Hmm.
that then reports to the dean of the college. And they assume that's the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
Yes.
And the dean of liberal arts and sciences reports to the provost.
Gotcha. So you were the dean at UNC, correct? The dean of
Correct. And I am, yeah, the College of Computing and Informatics.
yes. Okay. Perfect. So this is going to be a step up into the next job for you. All right.
Correct.
Awesome. So could you I have a paper here. I just wanted to um ask you a little bit about breaking free of the gravity of our education. Paper from 2015. Now, is this a paper detailing kind of the shift at UNC that you had envisioned for your programs there?
To tell you the truth, I will have to review what that paper is about. That's part of the work that I have done at Purdue University, actually, not at UNC Charlotte. I have been
Okay.
at UNC Charlotte since 2017, and the work that I have done at Purdue is very focused on something. Again, it's very specific to the work done at Purdue. But that being said, my philosophy is my philosophy, and it follows me wherever I am, and the things that I'm passionate about are the same. Um, and so so your question, so tell me again, what is the question?
Well, we may be getting into some. I hope this isn't irrelevant because I was looking at kind of the philosophies from this paper. So that was more of the question: is this relevant to kind of your ideas for Grand Valley State University? Um, Obviously, you're not going to be the head of the department; you'll be the head of all departments. So um, this this paper, just to get into kind of a more directed question for you, um, you you mentioned devoting time to deconstructing the current system to understand what underlying assumptions remain essential and which became irrelevant, um, identifying a set of common values and priorities that guide your design, and to be self reflecting and ready to transform ourselves. And I think that came out of,
This
it
was,
says,
yeah, this was a critique of a paper that was published. And I did pull it now. Oh, okay, I know what that is.
okay, perfect.
And really, the whole paper is about the integration of liberal arts and professional studies, and that is something that I strongly believe in, and that really has underlined everything I have done, especially in the last 10 years, which is the strong belief that when we graduate professionals in technology, it's extremely important that these professionals have a good understanding of the social impact of what they do, that they have the sensitivity and the awareness of the tremendous impact of technology. In the same way, I also very strongly believe that anybody with a liberal arts degree, whether they go into economics, into politics, into any function, it's extremely important for them to also understand technology, because technology is changing everything, and it's very important for them to understand that. So that's the gist of this. There is also the sentences that you quoted is a general approach to say that, yes, our current education system hasn't changed much. And the fact that it is stable is a great thing. The fact that it is stable, sometimes it's a challenge. The fact that it doesn't move fast enough is sometimes a challenge. And it's really an invitation for all of us to constantly re-examine the assumptions behind the system. And another thing that I subscribe to, which is the systems view. Very often we look at a symptom and try to attack that symptom, and very often that's really a signal of something much bigger. And the systemic view says that if you want to change a system in any significant way, you have to really understand what assumptions is it sitting on, what is the paradigm on which it is built, and re-examine that. You may decide, no, this is still valid, or you may decide that, well, maybe that was true 100 years ago and that no longer is the case, and figure out how we adjust. Does it
Okay.
help?
It does, yeah. So I think my next kind of question, you mentioned um, that the mission was to create a new educational environment to meet the needs of changing students, the changing economy, and the changing knowledge distribution, which kind of ties in with your philosophy of systems and making a cohesive student as they're coming out of college to be able to impact the society. So, what are could you just go over like some of your views of what a uh, computer information systems major comes out of the your program? Just like what would it look like for him to be him or her to be knowledgeable and aware of the society and to be able to know the impact that they have on it?
Yeah. That's a wonderful question. And this is one of the things that we have been working on here, which is how do we incorporate technology, and in this case, it's computer science, with social implications and with ethics. And if I start with ethics, very often we know what's right and what's wrong. It's not, but we don't necessarily have the reflex to ask the question at the right time when we are designing something. And when you look at design processes, if you open any innovation book, usually they tell you if you want to create any innovation, you have to make sure that it is desirable. So there are some people who want it.
Absolutely.
That it is feasible, that you have the technology to make it, and that it is viable, means you can make money out of it. You can actually produce it and sell it. Period.
Okay.
Nothing else.
So those are the three things that
those are the three things.
Okay. Awesome.
Necessary and sufficient. So
yes.
The argument is they never ask, is this the right thing to do? In other words, does it harm anybody? Does it help everybody? And this is traditionally in engineering, when every accreditation agency in engineering, whether ABAT or others, when they accredit a program, they say there has to be some ethics. What does it mean? It means we send our students to the other side of campus to take one course titled ethics, and then we get to check the box. And then they come back to us and we never talk about it again. And in computing, we are seeing that our computing systems are used to make significant decisions, are used to select whose resume gets an interview. They are used to select how you triage patients in an emergency room. They're used to select who gets a loan and who doesn't. And there are lots of biases in these systems. And what we wanted was to make sure that our students have the reflex to ask these questions, to investigate these questions. If I design the system in this way, who does it benefit? Who might it harm? And really, it's not so much. Initially, we were thinking about it as a twofold. First, they have to have the intellectual capacity to answer these questions. And second, the habit of mind to ask them. And the more we think about it, it's really the habit of mind more than anything else. The rest is really knowing that if you triage patients in an emergency room based on the cost of previous the cost of previous care that they have received, and this is the case of a system that was used, you are benefiting some segment of the population and harming others. And that's, again, very often we use criteria and thinking it makes sense, it's as good as any other criterion, and very often it's not the case. So this is what we have been trying to accomplish, and I don't say that we are done. What we have been trying to accomplish is to make sure that our students understand that they own the implications of what they do. That when they design something, yes, they are responsible for it, they are accountable for it, at least in their conscience, and therefore keep asking these questions. Don't assume that if you're asked to design something, then it's okay to, then it's ethical, or that it has a positive impact. And computing has had an infinite positive impacts in society, but it also has systems that are that cause inequity, that cause harm for some people, and that's we feel that as an educational institution we have to take ownership of that and make sure that we graduate students who understand this, who are aware of it, and who have those reflexes of you're asked to design something, ask. Don't necessarily assume that it's the right thing to do. There is an
Okay.
adage in engineering that says, "Why do I do something? Because I can." It sounds fun, but I think we have to move from that. It's not whether I can or not. It's very often the question is, should I? I can do this, but should I do it?
Okay. So you're saying that education in the engineering field, just to kind of summarize, has been traditionally those three questions: is there a market? Does it make money? Is it possible or feasible? And we should move from that to a uh, more how do I say this? Ownership responsibility model where if you make something, you're responsible for the impact that it has on society. Is that an accurate kind of summation?
Right, add a fourth. So that usually it's represented as three circles: the desirability, the feasibility, the viability. We need to add a fourth circle that is really part of the design process.
Okay, so you're talking about adding that in. Okay,
Right, right.
all right. I just wanted to clarify that we were hearing each other on every level.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, so I would assume that you have uh, I mean, you've already said you're going to bring your philosophy with you here to Grand Valley. Have you talked to any buddy here about um, that implementing that in Grand Valley and what that would look like yet? I know it's very early. You totally understandable if you haven't really discussed that, but go ahead. Is
Yeah.
there?
So I don't go from position to position with a portfolio of things that I go then and implement.
Okay.
It's what I have done at Purdue is completely different from what I have done at UNC Charlotte, will be completely different from what I will do at Grand Valley State. And then again, I come in with my own mindset, with my own inclinations, etc. But it's all the institution, and I will take my time to immerse myself in the institution to understand its culture and to focus on the strategic plan as outlined by the Grand Valley State University. And my mission is to help implement that strategic plan. Um, so, um, so again, it's not me coming to do my own thing at Grand Valley State. It's me coming to support the implementation of Grand Valley State University's strategic plan. And of course, I will give it my own stamp. We all do that. Every position that we take, we give it our own flavor because that's how we know what to. That's how we function as a whole person. We do things the way we can or the way it makes sense to us. But of course, it's not a single person endeavor. It's I will work with the deans, I will work with the president, with the president's cabinet, etc. Um, at um, at implementing the strategic plan that has just been signed.
Okay. That's totally understandable. One more just question I had. It has to do with this paper. Um, so you mentioned that I think it said like half of the faculty shrunk by half. Those uncomfortable with the process or the extent of the changes considered left. Was that something to do with like the idea of incorporating more personal responsibility into the creation of um, a computer system, or could you just explain like what kind of sense you got from the faculty that left that their problem was with it?
I'm sorry, what are you referring to?
So down here at the
Which page? Second page,
uh,
first page?
it I'm sorry, it's all one page to me. So I think it would be the second kind of paragraph.
Uh-huh.
Um, it said, we felt it was critical to devote at least one semester to building the right mindset and the requisite predilection. By the end of the semester, the team of 32 faculty shrunk by half those uncomfortable with the process, or the extent of change is considered left. Probably about
Mhm, mhm,
halfway through that second
mhm,
paragraph.
mhm.
Yeah. So do you remember anything about that or
Yeah, yeah,
about?
yeah. Mhm. So, okay, now that I know what you're referring to, what is your question again?
So do you remember like did they explain to you at all what their reservations were with that, just to have like some, because I always like to look at both sides. Like you've shown me,
Yeah.
what is good here.
So, yeah,
Go ahead.
and what was implemented at Purdue was an experimental program that we have done using competency-based education. And in competency-based education, what we were pretty much eliminating grades. What was fixed instead was expectations. So for specific courses, we said students are supposed to master this concept, and and that required a mode of work that is entirely different from what students were used to, entirely different from what faculty were used to.
Hmm.
So when we started adopting that some faculty said, I don't want to work this way, and it's okay. We didn't really, again, it was a small experiment that didn't require a large number of group of people, and we ended up revising that process tremendously.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that and wanted a little bit more explanation on that. Um, let's see. I think there was one other thing. Oh, okay. So the third paragraph, almost, let's see, uh, almost all the way at the bottom of the paragraph, it says, "Are we willing to consider that maybe the reason women and minorities are still grossly underrepresented in engineering lies with the very essence of what we have to offer, not just with their lack of confidence or lack of prior preparation?" Um, so that kind of uh, seemed seemed to me to divert a little bit in the flow of the writing. Could you explain a little bit of like what you meant there? Because it seemed um, like, I don't know, it just seemed odd for that to be in there. Um, was that like uh, an idea that this way of doing things would be able to bring in and include more people, or I feel like I'm
Correct.
rambling with this question, so I'll let you take it from here.
And I guess the essence of the whole two-pager was asking the questions, and this is where we started from. Is when you're looking at the system and wondering why, maybe you need to ask questions about its premises. And when we have a curriculum that again, it's not appealing to everyone, it's legitimate to ask the question why. One way to say is, oh, they're not prepared for it. That is not so the question asked here, maybe there is something else to it, then they're not just prepared for it. And we saw many disciplines shift through the years, uh, being one gender or another through the years. So it's much more than just maybe they're not genetically, they are not programmed for this or anything like that. Maybe it's the way we are presenting the discipline, the way we are including in the curriculum, the things that we are including in the curriculum, etc. That may be at issue. So again, the whole issue is the self-reflection and asking the question, not necessarily put the blame on the students, but wondering, is that maybe it's the curriculum, maybe it's the pedagogy, maybe it's the way we are framing these things. Have we considered that? Does that
Okay,
make sense?
it does. Yeah, and I think that was all the questions that I had for you right now. I know you're a busy lady, so I'll let you get going here. But
Thank you. So I was a little bit confused because I was contacted by you, and then I was contacted by another person from the students' newspaper who ended up writing. So are you from the students' newspaper or from
no,
another?
no, I actually I have my own on-campus news source kind of thing going on. I used to write for them. Uh, they didn't see eye to eye with me, so I I am now doing my own thing. So yeah, they're
And what's
separate.
your major?
Music education. But
Yeah.
I like to write and I like to question things. I just don't feel that the news sources that I've been that have traditionally been asking questions are asking the kind of questions that I want to know. So
Mhm.
I want to kind of get more questions asked of uh, those that are especially going to be leading colleges, leading the entire student body. I want to be able to dig in a little bit deeper and show everybody exactly what everybody's talking about and not kind of confuse the issues. So
Mhm, mhm. I'm impressed that you found this paper. As I said, it was this is the way this journal does publishes. They publish a piece and then they invite several authors to write critique of that piece, and each one of them takes a different angle at it.
mhm.
It's interesting that you found that and that you read it in depth. So you also write, you said?
Yes, I do.
Would you write?
Just local news articles, things in West Michigan, things that are happening. I do a lot of politics. Um, I try and do a lot of what's going on campus. I haven't had too much luck talking with very many faculty. It seems that everybody is extremely busy. So
Mm,
so I do very much appreciate you taking the time to sit down and
of
talk
course,
with me.
of course.
And I would love to talk to you again after your first year and just kind of get a sense of what how your first year went, and what things you're seeing in our community at Grand Valley and our education system, and what where you're thinking we should go.
Would be happy to.
Awesome. That's so
Thank you
cool.
so much. Look forward
Yes,
to
thank
meeting
you.
you in person.
All right. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much, Dr. Mili. Bye.